Knowing how to do the come at me emote glitch is going to be extremely necessary for the current state of speedrunning in Destiny 1. It's one of the most game-breaking glitches that the game has ever seen. Basically, it allows you to go through walls with complete ease. It's pretty obvious why this would have a place in speedrunning. So, to do it, you're going to need the come at me emote. If you don't have it, you can buy it for 15 silver at the kiosk. And so, before I explain the inputs and everything, I'm going to start by explaining a base concept that should get this fresh in your head and should just like make this all stand out and make a lot more sense. So, right now, on my Emote tool, you might notice there's a compass, and as I rotate, as I move, as I look around, it rotates. So, imagine that every map in the entire game has a compass set to it. When determined on spawn, there's a north, south, east, west to every single map in the game. I'm not saying use Mida for every emote glitch, or really any emote glitch. You should never, use this to find emotes or anything. It's just, I'm just using it to demonstrate that each map has these qualities. So, when you see someone emote glitch, you might think they go and they put their left side of their body up to a wall, and then do the glitch and go through, but it doesn't work like that. Like if I was to put my left side up to this side of the wall, I wouldn't be able to go through, because it's not relative to the position of the wall you're going through, it's relative to the position of the entire map. So, if I was going to use the compass and the Mida as a example, which you should not do, I'm just using this on Bannerfall as an example. The regular emote glitch, which goes in like that direction, maybe like there, would be northeast, and the backwards emote would go northwest that way. So I'm going to demonstrate the inputs of emote glitch and how you do it. So you want to start by going up to a wall and crouching. Once crouched, you'll initiate your emote, the come at me emote. When your arms fully extend, right here where I'm stopping the emote, when your arms fully extend right there, that's when you're going to sprint. Do not use any directional input when you press sprint. Just press down on the button and then press B. So what this does, oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to talk about that. So, when you do an emote glitch, your character gets kind of messed up in certain ways. And part of that causes the slide property when you go on certain corners where walls and ground meet. And you'll slide along the floor. So maybe you were going to do this emote, and like you missed the emote or something. So then you came back to try it again, and now you're sliding on the ground. So that's obviously a problem. But what you can do is you can crouch as you walk up to the wall. The sliding property won't really apply to you. And then you can go back in. Basically, the reason that happens is the game will just get confused sometimes after you do an emote, and it will like... I mean, when I look at myself, you can't see it, but if someone else was looking at me, my legs would be like over there. So, it's just kind of weird like that. And so, that's that. You're also, another tip is, since it's not directly to my left, it's back a tiny bit. So it's left and to the back a tiny bit. It goes like back that way. So because of that, to compensate for it pushing me in that way, I can turn a little bit to the right, and it will shift the direction it pushes me more that way, more towards the wall. So, see, if I look right here, I'll probably still go through, yeah, because this is like one of the thinnest walls in the game. But if I was to do a thicker wall, I most likely wouldn't, and I'd have to look there. So as you can see from where I'm looking, there's a pretty wide variety of angles you can look at. And also another thing worth mentioning is the emote glitch isn't like, it doesn't have to be like within 3 degrees of this wall. You could probably emote glitch any wall with this general line, that kind of line. Like really, it doesn't have to be that, that specific. Like if I was to come in here, I could definitely make that. Same with that. So that's that. And then for backwards emote glitching, works a little bit differently. For the backwards emote glitch, you're going to want to wait in the animation longer. I don't know if you can see right there, but your character, after he brings his arms all the way out, he'll stop them, and then he'll shrug and nod. When he shrugs and nods, that's when you're going to want to sprint and crouch using the same technique from before with no directional input. Like that. So, crouch, and then when you shrug, do that, and you'll see it push me back in that direction. So, if I was to come over here, and as you can see, I just did the backwards emote glitch, so now I have that sliding property in this direction where my legs are, you know, not really aligned. My like legs are like, the game thinks my legs are over there, and so the legs are in the wall, kind of, and that's what's causing this. So I'll crouch, walk up to the wall, and there you go. That's the backwards emote glitch. So another thing that's probably worth noting is the backwards emote glitch pushes you more to the back than the normal one does. So the normal one pushes you like that much. This one pushes you back like in probably like that direction. So it's a little bit more angled back. And so because of that, you're gonna have to look more to the left to compensate for it. But yeah, that's really all there is to that. One other thing I'm gonna talk about really quick is if you're doing backwards, and there might be some scenarios where this happens for regulars, but I can't really think of any. Sometimes when you're doing a backwards emote, your camera, that's not a good example, right here. Yeah, so if I was to try and do a backwards emote right here, my camera is backed all the way up against the wall, and it might be hard for me to see what my character's doing, and so for that reason, I would recommend you don't go completely off visual cues. You should also just get the timing down in your head. It shouldn't take long. I mean, again, this is not to be super precise. It's not like frame perfect or anything. You have a little bit of wiggle room to hit this trick. So, yeah, definitely just play around with that and try and get the timing down in your head. And then I'm going to talk about it really quick, but I don't have a way to demonstrate it right here, I don't think. There's another way to breach through certain walls, and the main one that comes to mind is at Crota, the glass at Crota that if you try to do the normal emote, you're just gonna get stuck in it, and it will slide you down, and you'll get stuck. So don't do a normal emote to get out of that one. There's a couple other walls I believe that work the same way, but basically what you're going to do is this. So in a standing position without crouching, you're going to do an emote and then crouch. And as you can see, this is like it's much slower than this one. So the emote glitch, this pushes you over further. So, you know, this gets you through more walls more consistently, but certain walls, I guess, just have certain things that prevent them from letting you use that other version, and this version is better for that. Like the glass at Crota, and I believe also maybe to get the outbreak chest out of bounds. But yeah, that's really it for this video. I think that covers everything I needed to talk about. Yeah. Just like, if you're gonna use this to beat a run, at least try to optimize it. Don't just beat a really good run that's like old and by a really good player by just doing like a really bad emote and not even trying to optimize it once you get a record. That's a problem that the community has been having, and the problem, I mean, having new speed tech like this definitely isn't a problem. It's really awesome and we can do a lot of cool stuff with it, but the problem is that a ton of the really good players who were able to optimize runs really well left the community before or soon after this glitch was found, and so that basically just led to a bunch of really nice times being beaten by less optimized times using emotes. So yeah, let's just try to work on that optimization. Other than that, emote glitches are pretty cool.